It is Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight, and we are here with Charlie Gregoire, CEO of Redbird, to share a big announcement related to its partnership with Avidyne. Over to you, Charlie. Tell us about your big announcement for today.
Yeah, today we announced an engineering partnership that we entered into with Avidyne to integrate actual Avidyne hardware and actual Avidyne software into our sims while maintaining full interchangeability that's so core to what we do. It's really exciting. I think it's going to be a game changer for our customers to be able to put Avidyne units in their fleet and to be able to use them one for one with their training fleet. But
awesome. Well, let's turn it over. Speaking of which, we have an Avidyne rep right here with us, sir. Welcome to Oshkosh Live. Congratulations on this exciting announcement going out today. So tell us your side of the story here as it relates to this great partnership with Redbird.
Thanks. Yeah, we're really happy to be working with Redbird. We've been working on this, as Charlie said, for a year. We're very interested in getting really realistic simulations of our products out in these kinds of simulations, and also our products are being more widely adopted by flight schools, and this is a key element to allow them to do that. So our IFD 440 GPS, which is a drop-in replacement for legacy products, is something that's a great product for flight schools because they can update their fleet literally in overnight because they're nearly interchangeable. And the big ask for the last several years has been, we need a really high-fidelity flight simulation for this. We provide an iPad simulation, which is great, but you can't actually get out there and fly it. So we've enjoyed working with the Redbird team. We've got a sim in our facility. We have a bunch of engineers working together. It's been terrific.
What was the original inspiration behind this partnership?
I think it was really, probably from my perspective, one of the things was we were looking at doing it, and our products are touchscreen, and we looked at the way that the Redbird sims are implemented, and we started saying, this is going to be hard to do with the current typical implementation with the touchscreen. So we said, what can we do to make this feel like a native touchscreen avionics product? And we said, the way we're going to do this is by putting real panel bezel hardware into the sim. And there were a whole bunch of technical limitations on that. Our units are large and you can't jam them in there, so we had to adapt that, and we had to integrate it with the Redbird simulation software and so forth. So there's been a bunch of work. But to me, I think maybe the very first motivating thing was, let's try and do this. Well, you're not going to be able to do it in the traditional fashion with a touchscreen.
Sure. Totally understandable. So, if someone wants to fly an Avidyne-equipped Redbird simulator, how do they go about tracking one of them down? Do they have to special order one? Walk us through that.
So we're just starting. We've got the technical part working, and as Charlie said, it's demonstrated right behind us in the booth, and then commercially these will be available, and Charlie can talk about it more, as one of their aircraft types that they can use in their simulator.
Yeah, the key to this integration to us was to maintain the interchangeability and make it available to all of the existing Redbird devices that are out there, from the TD all the way up to our MCX line. So it's built into our existing interchangeable hardware. It will be built into our interchangeable hardware. What we're showing off here is sort of the first engineering, the work product of the first engineering effort. So there's a 550 in this MCX here. The first releasable product will have a full Avidyne stack and will be available for your Redbird at your school.
Wow. And what does the cost look like to that for a flight school, for instance?
Well, there will be a cost component to add the new configuration on, but it'll be a fraction of what it would cost to integrate actual avionics or do this in a more quote unquote conventional way.
Sure.
we don't build things in the conventional way. We build it in a way we feel like it meets the value proposition for the customer. So
absolutely. Well, like you guys said, there is one here that people are testing out. What are their initial reactions? Dan, do you want to just give us a look into that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, nobody's ever seen anything like this before, so people jump in there.
Yeah.
That's Oshkosh.
Gotta love being an air show, man.
That's a fuel to noise generation machine out there.
Dan, just so you know, we cued that as a big splash for your big announcement today.
So that's the level of enthusiasm that we're seeing. It's terrific. And we have we've had people asking us for this for a long time, and now we've sort of sprung the announcement on them, and we'll be sending them by here for the rest of the show. So I think, this is something we've never announced before. It's been asked for. We've kind of pushed people off a little bit, but it's going to get a tremendous amount of interest.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Well, clearly, for an announcement like this, putting it out at Oshkosh seems perfect, right? I mean, certainly press releases go out every day, but clearly a very specific, purposeful decision to put it out here. Obviously not just on Oshkosh Live, but at the world's biggest aviation show. Yep. So no-brainer there, I guess, right?
Nothing like it.
That's right.
This is the place to do it.
Best way to do it. And we've been working on this really hard and springing on people right here at on day 2 of Oshkosh. So it's as good as it gets.
So how high is the ceiling here? This partnership, obviously, big announcement today. You were talking a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sir.
I can't even see the ceiling. It's blue sky above us.
That's the best problem to have.
Yeah.
We're very happy to have a collaborative flight simulator manufacturer to work with. I think that we focus on making our products easy to use, and we're trying to make flying safer. And the way you make it safer is by making the products easier to use, but also making it easier to train on them. And so this has been something that we've dreamt up for a long time. We've done a few other really small projects on sims, but we have a lot of other products and a lot of other things going that would also really benefit from this kind of a treatment.
That's fantastic.
Kayla, what do you expect from a plane and pilot audience, this sort of news? Like, if you can be the reader, the fan, the follower, like, how does this news received? How do you expect this, putting it out on social, you're putting it out on your site? How would you expect the response to be for something like this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Sean. I mean, we have a very, an audience of such a large flight school, student pilot demographic. So I think this is a complete game changer. This is a time saver. This is a money saver. This is a big deal for especially the flight training community, but also, owners. If they maybe are curious about what's it like to fly behind an Avidyne panel, I think this gives them a great glimpse into that. So yeah, I think our readers are going to be super interested to hear about this, and maybe if they're here at the show, to come try it out for themselves. Speaking of which,
like you said, we have it set up right here in the Redbird booth. Any initial feedback, just anyone so far, from here at the show? Has anyone?
Yeah, they've been flying it all morning.
What's the response?
Positive. Yeah, nothing but positive. The problem is, of course, they ask, "Great, when can I have it?" Well,
the question I asked.
Yeah,
that you're like, "Whoa, hold your horses."
Yeah, it's just some engineering. Yeah, but no way. It's it's so slick. It's so cool.
Fantastic.
And I think the thing that people will appreciate over time is it's perfectly authentic. This is, a lot of the simulation that's out there is kind of I'm an avionics guy. I see things that are approximations of avionics. They're not exactly right. And so this is going to be exactly right in terms of how these things work.
Right. What's your favorite feature, Dan?
Again, I come back and I say it's really cool to be able to finally do touchscreen stuff. Touchscreen, we started delivering touchscreen products. We were one of the first to do multi-touch. And the world is now, people interact with their screens using touchscreen. And so I think getting that out there so that people can use it in a simulation environment, that's really great. I think the other thing is just the integration with the whole Redbird product line. So we get to simulate a whole bunch of different airplanes with one project, which is great for us.
That's fantastic. A whole bunch of birds with one stone.
Yeah, that's right. I love it.
Well, thank you, Charlie, for again joining us at the anchor desk. Dan from Avidyne, thank you so much for sharing this exciting announcement. Great news. Congratulations to you both. Sounds like you said blue skies ahead. So congratulations and best of luck to you both with this awesome new partnership. Redbird, Avidyne, so cool. Thanks so much for stopping by the desk and sharing your story with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight, continues. That brings us to, we are 2.5 hours into the show with more content to come. So we are going up next to the Kit Planes Hour. I want to thank Kayla McLeod from Plane and Pilot for being another awesome co-host. Stay with us. More awesome content to come on Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight.
It's happening. Okay. It's happening. Let's go. It's happening. Let's go. Get the bag. Get the bag. Get. What?
Life's better when you're prepared, especially on the flight deck. Find a Redbird near you. and fly like you've been there before.
I help people.
I create music. I shape the future.
I am an entrepreneur.
I inspire people with more than words.
I ride forward. The sky is not my limit.
Find your blue at MTSU.
Next. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Trashed.
Life's better when you're prepared, especially on the flight deck. Find a Redbird near you and fly like you've been there before.
This is Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight. We are 2.5 hours into the show, Ryan. How are you feeling? How's your stamina?
Oh, good. I just crushed another cup of coffee.
Another one? Since the one we had?
No, it's the same one.
Oh, same one. Okay. Don't
Could've
stay
told
ahead
you,
of me.
yes.
Well, we are here at the Kit Plains Hour, and so no better way to start it off than to throw it to Kit Plains Tom Wilson. We're going to go and sing a Zenith home-built airplane out in the field here at Oshkosh. Let's check out that video now.
Should be good.
We're entering back into that golden age, especially because of backcountry aviation. We're getting back into one of those golden eras of aviation where people are truly saying, wow, this is a freedom that I can have.
Yeah, Tom Wilson here at AirVenture 2025. This is our first stop, so very excited to be here with Carsey Stilson, and we're going to take a look at his Zenith. When did you build this?
I just finished this plane 2 weeks ago. It was a 2.5-year build process. I started in December of 2022.
Why did you pick a Zenith?
Interestingly enough, so I actually have a bush plane. I have a Rans S20 Raven, the hybrid version with the metal wing, and it's a beautiful plane, and I was flying that and got a lot of tailwheel experience, but it was built by somebody else. And as I kind of saw the bespoke, fun features of that aircraft that was the other builders playing, it was like, I work to build my own stuff. And I saw a lot of the people building these backcountry airplanes, and the Cups and the, all these other tailwheel aircraft, and I was like, what can a nose wheel aircraft do? And I kind of saw and I came to AirVenture back in 2021, 2022, and saw the Zenith, the Super Duty. Because originally I thought, Zenith, they're kind of, they're interesting looking aircraft.
Yep.
But I felt the Super Duty really rounded things out. The larger wheelbase, the bigger wheels, it just felt like a more mature version of a Zenith aircraft. And I was immediately drawn to it as the Jeep disguise. So I saw that kit and I was like, man, I want to make something happen. So I got one and I went to the rudder workshop that they do in Mexico, Missouri, experienced the build process, which is, to me was a whole new thing. I've never done any sort of aluminum work, metal work, like shop class at middle school, right? Really. But after experiencing that, seeing the match full drill kit and how easy it was to assemble, put together, I was like, anybody can do this, right? Loved my experience at the rudder workshop, but had a kit arrive just a 3 months later.
Obviously, always fundamentals, but performance and the personality of an airplane. You got a bigger engine on this one.
Yes.
So I could see it bulging out of its cowling here. So what do you got hiding under there?
Yeah, this is the Lycoming IL390. It's the non-certified version that's the kit. But it's more or less, it's almost the exact same engine as the certified variant. Very reliable, trustworthy, and powerful. 215 horse. And I just actually, on my way here, made it through the break-in period. I utilized the beauty of task-based flight testing to get all my tasks done. But that said, we were very much still experimenting and testing the aircraft as we traveled here. And after that break-in period, the engine is just running phenomenally. I mean, we're seeing cruise speeds. If I want to put in 12, 13 gallons an hour, I'm getting almost 120 miles an hour, which is pretty.
That's dragging it along.
It is moving it for a Super Duty. But at the same time, I can lean it back to 8.5 and still get nearly 100 miles an hour.
So you can get there if you need to.
Absolutely. I mean, I can go from, if I want 3 hours of endurance, or I can get almost 5.
Right.
Which is pretty great.
Pretty good. Are you empty when you get there? That's it. If you use the power.
Yeah, you can definitely push it. You know, I try to factor in that, but you know, I think I found my really happy place is at that 10 a gallon an hour, going about 105 to 100 grand.
It's great. It's good utility. Yeah. It's
I worked with Evoke Aircraft Design to come up with the paint schema design, and then I trusted the team at Artcraft Paint to actually bring it to life. I didn't paint it myself. I don't think I'm quite as capable of that. I kind of left that to the pros to share. But yeah, they painted the plane. It's all based on the custom topography. I have a tattoo that a lot of people recognize. It's a sectional chart of Zion National Park, and it's the first flight that I took my wife and kids on as their pilot.
That's never going to blow out the window.
And it's not. I utilized this same topography, and I made a repeatable pattern that we put on the rear of the plane, and it kind of gradient. We have the light gray to dark gray gradient to bring that sectional chart out, and then we use that same topography in the seats as well on the seat back.
You've obviously made the investment here in a constant speed.
Yep. So this is the Hartzell 80-inch Trailblazer prop. So this is full constant speed. This is already a relatively nose-heavy aircraft, but this actually, because it's composite, I mean, Hartzell is so good about making such great composite propellers. I'm getting amazing performance, comparable to even a less heavy, when I factor in heavy, I'm talking about the hub and the governor into the constant speed proportion. I'm seeing such good performance numbers on this that it's been actually really impressive.
Rolling stock. Anything special down here we should talk about on wheels and tires?
On my gear, this is funny enough. People are always like, "What special stuff that you put on?" This is what comes with the Zenith Stupidity kit. Mm-hmm. It's the Aero Classics. I believe they're 27.5 inch, if I recall. Yeah, 27.5s on the sides. They're typical 8s on the air hawks up front.
It's trail ready, as some people would say.
I think I would put larger wheels on it. It's not necessary for.
Love the lift up doors.
Thank you.
So practical.
Yeah, so I went with the full Garmin G3X panel. So this is an experimental panel. It's got the dual G3X, both the landscape 10-inch and then the vertical 7-inch, which I utilize this is my primary flight display here, map here, and then engine monitoring on this side. So it covers everything I need. Interestingly enough, Extra Aircraft actually built my panel for me.
Really?
I reached out to them and they're like, we would love to. They have this beautiful, this is a forged carbon fiber panel fitting here. And I had seen them do it on their aircraft. And I said, well, where do you guys get that forged carbon fiber? Like, we make it ourselves. And I was like, would you make me one? And they're like, absolutely. And so they are part of this build too, which was incredible. I joke that my plane is now plus and minus 10G capable because of my panel.
Because you got an extra panel on it. And it's funny that, it's cohesively, visually, this ties in with your aft fuselage.
It does. Yeah. And they even did the milled switches and stuff for me. It turned out just awesome. I'm very pleased.
Manly stuff there, yeah.
Yep, so Sport Aircraft seats did these. These are custom seats. We actually redesigned the Zenith seat. It originally kind of has an arch to it, which for a shorter pilot I think is good because it kind of hits your neck and it's like a neck rest. As a taller person, it actually hits into my back. So we redesigned the seat, put a lot more lumbar support in, and now I worked with him to produce them for Zenith pilots, and so these are rebuilt seats. It was just extremely comfortable. So they're all custom based on the same topography, and then we actually burns the whiskey meat, lasered it into the top on the seats. So I worked with a company called 67 Designs. They make lots of mounts and stuff, and they have these rails here that I actually installed, and I will put a Starlink in here to have in-flight Wi-Fi. And in the backcountry, I can have communication to be able to reach and contact people. So I put in power supplies through here where all my wiring is, so I can have internet or anything there on the edge of the wings. And we'll get to those in a sec. I have camera power that I can then record and do all of my flying without having to worry about switching batteries. And it's actually a safety feature for me because when I get in the plane, people who are, influencing and recording what they're flying, if you're concerned about your cameras not working, it's now something that's taking your mind off of the important thing, which is flying.
Yeah, you're a cameraman and not a pilot.
Exactly.
Right.
All I do is flip this switch, and I don't think about the rest.
Right.
So
it's integrated. It's an integral part of this airplane, the ability to shoot video.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So this is, you'll see that we can extend it all the way out.
These are my Insta360.
Yes. Well, I utilize the Insta360 X5 camera, which I can then put on this. And the camera built into the actual camera's artificial intelligence capability makes this whole thing invisible. So the shot appears as if you're just flying in front of the airplane. And it's really, really impressive. And then I can pull power that I've run. And the beauty of kit planes and experimental aviation is I ran wire
And I'd ask the FAA if he could do that.
Exactly. OSC is required. So I've got power here and a water-resistant power port. I can then run it up to my camera and flip that switch, and it turns on and starts recording immediately. So it's very, very nice.
Sure. How about the stability of the mount? Does the electronics take the jiggle out?
No, it wiggles, but yes, absolutely. Because when I'm flying, it'll do this. But the camera is built-in stabilization. You don't even know. It's pretty impressive.
Better living through electronics. Yeah. This is quite the span here.
This is just the first. Like, I have another one on the other side, and I actually plan to do a really unique custom mount based off of my tail. Try to go out and up to give you that video game-esque shot over the aircraft. There's a couple fun places I plan to try to integrate mounts to see what I can get shot-wise.
Great.
So this is everything I did on this was inspiration from southern Utah. The greater Zion area. It's, you have the mountain actual silhouette with the copper, which kind of pulls in that red rock. Also, we have with a lot of lava rock where we live. And the topography is, again, based off of southern Utah. And it's just my love letter to where I live. It's truly one of the most stunning places in the world and one of the most incredible backcountry aviation places.
Well, I think it's a great illustration of your creativity. Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you. I'm very happy with it. Great.
All right.
Super. Cool. Thank you.
Superb.
And you are in Utah, correct?
Yes, I'm in southern Utah. I'm based in St. George, just an hour and a half from Las Vegas, in the Red Rocks, Zion National Park, which is this, and then Grand Canyon. I plan to be playing a lot out there.
And we also can find you on the web, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So this all started, I have a company called Wearworthy, but more of a social media channel is what it's turned into, where people have been following my moves. And it's absolutely blown up. In the last 3 years, we went from 5,000 to 1.2 million followers. My airplane is kind of a testament to what you can do with experimental aviation. That's kind of where my passion is. But kit planes in general are a magical way to enter into aviation because they're getting better. They're getting more capable.
Right.
The production processes are improving so dramatically that you can assemble one in 500 to 700 hours, or you can assemble one that just did everything you want for half the price of what a certified comparable aircraft you do.
Right.
I think that this, in my goal with Wearworthy, was to show people what experimental aviation is, show people that, you can get into this with a couple friends, the same price of buying a fancy speedboat or a wakeboard boat, right? Or some toy hauler. Something
actually is approachable.
It's very
a stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really want to, I think we're entering back into that golden age, especially because of backcountry aviation. We're getting back into one of those golden eras of aviation where people are truly saying, "Oh, this is a freedom that I can have."
Well, the airplane has utility. It's more than just up, drive around, come back down again.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it seems to me that this airplane's a good example of the fact that a modern kit, reasonably easy to assemble, it doesn't require tons of, hand massage to start with. Okay? So you get a functioning airplane relatively quickly, but then it's your blank canvas to start from there. Getting an airplane build is like the jumping out point. And clearly, this airplane seems to be a good example of that.
It is. It's fun to go to like the Zenith Homecoming in September and see all these seats show up, and they are all starkly different. Everybody has put their own touch into it, different engines, different avionics. It truly is the blank canvas, and it just allows people to, really have a form of expression to make something that's custom to them, which is what I wanted after seeing my RANs and going, what could I make for myself?
This is Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight. Multiple hours into day 2. Temperatures are rising. We're almost up to 80 degrees here.
Getting a little corn sweaty.
A little corn sweaty, a little muggy, a little hazy. But our next guest did promise cold margaritas at day's end, which is why we're going to give him as much time at the anchor desk as we like. But my esteemed colleague, Ryan Ewing, is going to throw it to the intro. Ryan, who do we have with us?
So tell us about yourself, Kelly Aerospace. Give us the 30,000-foot overview, so to speak.
All right. Well, Kelly Aerospace is a family of flying people, okay? They're not just in this business because it's something they enjoy doing. They fly, they own airplanes, they maintain airplanes. They're great people to work for because what we do, there is nobody that does. We do all-electric air conditioning, and there's none of that anywhere in the industry right now. So they let us go, and we go do what we do, and it's lighter weight stuff. There's some really neat things about it, and people come by the booth. We'll get real technical about that. But at the end of the day, Kelly Aerospace, they do a little bit of everything. My division is thermal systems. That's what we do. There's so many other things that Kelly Aerospace does. They are steeped in this business.
So tell us a little bit about what you're excited about, new products, new services, new systems. What's the Oshkosh story for Kelly Aerospace here in 2025?
Well, we're going to be introducing the 210, the Cessna 210 very soon. It's certified. There are some little glitches with some of the different models, but we're ready to go with that, and we are currently installing those. We're also have moved into the helicopter world, which is my background, and I'm really excited about that. We're starting with the Instrom 280. I don't know if there's one here at the show. We had it in our booth last year, and we'll be moving into their turbine version of that as well. So those are a couple of the new things, and we've been telling people we can't help them in the older aircraft due to the fact that they're 12 volts for years. And we think we're on the right track to maybe bring some of the older airplanes into the air conditioning world. So that's pretty exciting, and probably next year before we're in it far enough to really talk about it, but that's where we're headed.
Talk a little bit about the thermal systems. What do they do?
Well, right now, just air conditioning.
Got it.
It's all electric air conditioning, and right now it's all in general aviation. This technology is extremely lightweight compared to the older automotive adaptations to aviation air conditioning. It's really simple stuff. It doesn't break down. You put it in there, and you're satisfied with it. We're doing them at the OE level for several, Cessna, Piper, and some of those. But we're huge in the aftermarket, which is why we're here in the middle of God's country for aviation.
So for someone who's interested in what Kelly Aerospace does for these particular products, like what is it relates to like lead time, getting it installed? What can an average consumer expect?
Well, it takes 10 days to install. We don't miss that. Sometimes we're quicker, but these people are going to drop their airplane off, and then they're going to come back. They need to know a date, so we give them 10 days. It's about 3 weeks. It moves around a lot, but about 3 weeks is our average for when you call. We can get a kit together and get you in one of our facilities, which is Kansas, Alabama, or Ohio right now.
Awesome. So we were talking before this segment a little bit about your history here at the show, and you said this was your 36th year. Is that correct?
It's like something like that. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been before all these buildings were here, and we were all stretched out down here.
Yeah.
The tall buildings. I mean, the buildings I think had 8-foot ceilings in them, so it got a little treacherous toward the end of the show, and it was hot from the beginning of the day. But I really watched aviation at this show, and they're on the cutting edge, obviously. So it's been a fun ride. It's been a great time, and really, you come up here now, and we're going to see a lot of people that we've air-conditioned airplanes for and that they want to and all, but we're going to see some friends that this is the only time we get to see them. So it takes, the older you get, it takes on a little different meaning.
There's so much about this that this is my second year, and so much of it feels like a family reunion. So much of it is there's the business networking aspect of it, but then to your point, I've heard multiple times about this is the only time of year I see this person and that person,
Absolutely.
and that's very cool.
It's a very international show, so a lot of your friends from Europe come over here and all.
Some Germans that are
No, exactly. Not just that, but you're going to see people that you may not see but here, and that makes it even more fun.
That's great.
So when we talk about, if anyone who's watching wants to come find you, or if anyone might have heard about these margaritas that I heard you mentioning, where's the best place to come find you with an empty mug?
Well, you'll see me laid up next to the trailer over there. We're over here in booth 189, just next to the C. I believe that's the C building down there. We're also inside, but we have 3 airplanes there, air conditioned all day long. The thing about this electric air conditioning, there are no flight restrictions. You can turn it on, take off, land, taxi, and all that. So it also blends itself to being on the ground in our booth and running. So when the air show starts, we'll literally go sit in an air-conditioned airplane and take our phone calls because you can't hear any other way. It's like I said, we don't have any competition right now, so we're enjoying the ride.
And where is the best place for people to find you all across the internet and elsewhere?
We do a very good job of letting people know where that is, kellyaerospace.com. And all phone sales-wise are going to come to me so that we can establish where we're going to put you. We've got, as I said, different facilities. We have some dealers on the West Coast that do a really good job as well. So we're easy to deal with, I can assure you of that.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, Walter Dodge with Kelly Aerospace, thanks
sir.
for stopping by. Look forward to seeing you later, maybe toast one.
I told you 189.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks you.
Thanks.
And now, stick with us. We're going to throw it to a video with Paul Dye right? We're going to throw there to an awesome video with our contributor, editor, Paul Dye, on Vans Aircraft. Take it away.
We're here with Carl. Beautiful RD-8A. Why chose an 8A? Well, I've flown many of the out here, and honestly, I did not like the okay, too close to good. Yeah, I don't like smoke of trading sweat back. Sure, I get it. And so I wanted to build an airplane. I'm the ex-Air Force guy, and it just reminded me of a mini T. Why the nose build? Because I had two friends help me build the airplanes. Okay. Really four. There's four of us building the airplane to go. And I tried teaching those two guys. I promised them, you help me build the airplane, you can fly it all day long. Okay. Could not get him a tail roll embarrassment. I tried. Couldn't get there, huh? Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with the nose wheel version. No. They fly great. I love them, too. They're 1 mile an hour slower. They are. Yeah, but you'll never better. But never see it. I pass regular RD-8s all the time. All the time. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about what you've done specially. I chose the Aerosport engine. Okay. L360. And the 9.5 to 2 compression cylinders on it. All right. With the Veteran exhaust. So it dynoed over. What would you know? Okay. And it originally came with a 6-pack instrument panel. That's what I had in there because at the time I built it, it's 22 years old. Wow. And when I built it, the glass was just in the infancy. Sure. I didn't want to do a Commodore 64 type screen. Sure. And so I had just the basic 6-pack. And 2 years ago, I upgraded it to the dyno. Very clean panel. And my original panel had the glove box or map case. Right. So I wanted to keep that. Let's go. That's right.
Thanks for joining us on Kit Planes here at Oshkosh Live. Much more to come. And thank you to our sponsor, Avemco.
Avemco is also the sponsor of the I Learned About Flying From That, the Flying Magazine podcast. Check that out. More than 100 episodes there. We're going to throw it to Russ Niles with AvWeb to take over the next block of time. Stick with us here at Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight.
Tempest plays a vital role in the industry, and in today's world we are the leading spark plug and oil filter manufacturer for general aviation. We've been able to not only release new products, but we've taken legacy products and created innovations. We take great pride not only from a design standpoint but from a manufacturing standpoint, all the way down to making sure the customer is satisfied with the product. Quality, innovation, performance. Tempest.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Oshkosh Live. We are live from the grounds at AirVenture 2025. And it's another beautiful day. We are we're getting Chamber of Commerce weather, and we're enjoying it. But we also have heard that it might get a little bit rocky tomorrow. Anyhow, speaking of rocky, the whole topic of flight training and getting people ready for a flight training flying profession has been an undercurrent of the industry for probably the last 5 to 8 years. With a pilot shortage and the rush to fill seats, there have been some gaps in training. Karen Kalishak is the chair of the National Association of Flight Instructors, and she has a direct view of all the goings-on in the flight training industry. And she has some observations as a designated pilot examiner as well. So, Karen, tell us, are we safe up there?
Well, I'd like to think we are, because I fly regularly, commercially and privately, and with a lot of students and examinees, being for the first time a passenger for many of them. So Yeah, I'd say we safe, but are there concerns? Yes. In fact, statistically, the analysis is still being done, but it appears that the initial pass rate for virtually every level of pilot certification or rating has been dropping fairly recently over the last few years. And we don't have the bottom line at this point, but it may be as low as the mid-60s. So, meaning we've got a significant amount of people that have been endorsed for an examination but aren't really ready to successfully pass that.
Well, what have you seen in your flights with candidates for arguably one of the hardest certificates that ordinary people can achieve in life? Speaking from my own experience, it was the hardest thing I ever did, but I did it. Yeah. And what are you seeing when you climb in the right seat with somebody who's hoping to get a pilot's license off you?
Okay, and I'd say you didn't say private pilot, but actually for a lot of people, because it is their first exam. So, they come in with trepidation. It obviously varies a lot by individual, but one of the issues that appears to be becoming more and more prevalent is the idea of people simply memorizing things. That there's actually 4 levels of learning, which is first rote memorization, just being able to take something in and spew it out again. If you have, the bare bulb, yes, no, black, white questions, then higher level would be understanding what you're saying. Third would be actually applying it, for example, in a flight situation, and then correlating, for example, aerodynamic concepts to other situations. So we're finding more and more in the examining area people that are at that rote level of memorization, and that's problematic. So, for example, if I ask someone about the power plant, they might just tell me something about the power plant, but I say, okay, so you're flying along and the engine seems to be running a little rough. What do you do? And if they simply say, we'll put on the carb heat, and I say, well, is this a carbureted aircraft? No. It's probably not carb heat problem, but it gets down to not only their systems knowledge, but that level of, do they understand how the systems of, how they interact, what's going to happen? Are they able to actually apply that to troubleshooting, determining what to do? Do they have the aeronautical decision-making skills?
So they're being trained to pass tests.
Well, they're hopefully being trained to meet the minimum, and a lot of people don't realize the airman certification standards are actually the minimum considered necessary to be a safe and proficient pilot at that point in time. It doesn't mean they've learned everything. It doesn't mean they're an excellent pilot. It simply means they're minimally considered safe enough to go out and take passengers for whatever that pilot level of rating is.
Well, license to learn, right?
Exactly.
So what do you tell people when you flunk them?
Well, I don't use that word. What I point out is telling people you need a little more training. And then we have a debrief that's required part of an exam. Many times I've given debriefs up to 2 hours. It's just explaining, giving them additional content. Sometimes it's actually the equivalent of ground training. And I like people to come away with the understanding it's not a failure. It simply means they need more training. And I can tell you virtually to a person when they come back to me, if they come back to me for the re-exam, they'll usually say this was the best thing that could have happened because they realized it was something that they themselves kind of knew was marginal. They were just hoping it would be good enough on the exam day, and under the stress of the exam it comes to light. And then after getting that specific training on that skill area or knowledge area, understanding, they're so much more comfortable, competent, and confidence, which is really important.
So what's the 30,000-foot view of this? Your organization takes these matters very seriously. So what's NAFI doing to improve that failure rate? And we're not calling it failure.
Lack of immediate success.
Lack of immediate success.
need for additional training.
So what's NAFI's reaction been to this state of affairs?
Well, we wish we had more time, but there's a lot of things that we offer. And in fact, anyone can join NAFI, by the way. You don't have to be a flight instructor. So we focus on really areas of mentorship, So we really have special interest groups. We pair people, new instructors with more experienced instructors, help them get over the initial hurdles, learn how to adapt to different people's learning styles, because everyone learns differently. That's an important part of being an instructor. We also have education. So we have a ream of educational content. We actually have a monthly broadcast for any pilot, not just flight instructors. It's called Mentor Live. We just had an excellent one on spins this month. So really good content. You can look that up on our website. That's nafementor.org, by the way. And anyone can attend that free of charge. And a lot of other educational content. We put out a magazine. We put out an weekly newsletter. The third leg of this stool is advocacy. We're actually, I myself serve on, I think, 8 different industry groups, FAA working groups, committees, boards. So constant activity helping promote the need for excellence in flight instruction.
Okay, and what are you hearing from flight instructors about the changes that they're making to try and overcome these gaps?
Okay.
What are they saying? And what has been the industry reaction to the little blip that we're going through here right now?
Yeah, well, I can tell you the instructors that are the experienced instructors and really interested in promoting quality, obviously work with young. They have a lot of outreach themselves, so they work with flight schools. They work with other individual CFIs. Also on a broader basis, we just had our first national webinar, which was answering directly. A DP panel answered CFI questions. It was phenomenally successful. So the FAA actually hosted that, and they've agreed to continue that. So we're trying to break down that barrier between what the true needs, expectations are, and make sure the training achieves that.
Okay, and what about the kids that need more training? How many of them come back? Is that a washout moment for a significant number of them, or do they try again?
Well, that becomes it depends. There are schools that, for example, if they have, say, an airline career track training, and many of them now have implemented a, sad to say, washout. So someone told me, he came to me for his first exam with me, and he said, I've already had 2 failures. If I don't pass this, I'm out of the program. For that individual, I know definitely that was his career goal, and if he was washed out, he wasn't going to continue flying as a general aviation pilot. So I think it really depends on the person, and you have to have that motivation, that passion for aviation to get through, and resilience to get through those tough spots, because we all have them at some point.
Okay, so we don't really want to dwell on the negative too much here.
Mm-hmm.
There must be the bright lights, the kids that really get it, and what sets them apart from the people who have problems.
Okay, I'd say it really boils down to, and this may seem a little unusual, but we always use that term PIC, right?
Yeah.
Pilot in command.
Right.
And what I see is a clear distinction is that acceptance of the PIC authority and responsibility. And that, if you look at it, if you come in with an attitude, I am going to be responsible not only for myself, but for every person who ever flies with me. And you realize I'm responsible for their safety, for their lives. That actually creates an internalization of saying, I need to learn more. I need to be the absolute best pilot. I need to know what I would have to do if something didn't go right. And that I've seen that spark hit people when they have that realization. And all of a sudden, yeah, they're really interested in learning about systems and doing scenario understanding. If this happened, how would I respond? So I think it's just creating that spark to realize that no one's there to hold your hand.
Right. So I think I had one of those moments myself.
Really?
Yeah. First time I took my wife for flying, we were actually looking at some property and assessing whether it would take an airstrip. And engine burbled a little bit. And she said, "What was that?" And I said, "I don't know. I think probably a little chunk of ice went through it." And it really turned me into a better pilot. It got me thinking about what if scenarios with everyone that I flew with, not just loved ones, and it set me on a course to learn more about the systems, learn more about how it all works. So it really is a lifelong learning experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about your flight experience and how long you've been at this.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you know, but I was actually a late starter. Actually, I started in my mid-30s, but didn't finish my training. But I learned if you don't have a good fit with the instructor, what can happen, which really later informed my own instruction. And then at age 50, which was 20 years ago, I decided I was just going to check that box and finish that private pilot rating. And I had an excellent instructor, and very quickly, within weeks, realized this is something I want to do professionally. So I transitioned from what I had been doing, which is international consulting, and set a long-range plan, built my time, built my certificates, and it all came to fruition.
What's the difference between older candidates and younger candidates? Are the skill sets different, or are the attitudes different? I'm probably pretty sure that the attitudes are different, but tell us what your observation is.
Well,
and maybe even your personal observation.
Well, there is some truth, because I was the older learner, right?
Right.
It really is individualized, but we're all at continuum, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had started to learn to fly when I was 17 or so, oh my goodness, the invulnerability would have been through the roof. I mean, I was out there, the one that was drag racing at night, things like that. So you tend to see a lot more of the invulnerability and the impulsivity in a younger generation. The older generation tends to be more innately cautious because we have life experience, right? But at the same time, we have, in general, slower reactions, and you need a lot more repetition typically as you age to have things sink in. Once they do sink in, they're there. But we all need continuing training, and we all need repetition for proficiency. I just recently flew with a pilot who hadn't flown for 6 months, and he thought he was just going to jump in his plane. And he said, I need a flight review. His skills weren't up to the level they need to be. So it became a lesson. He was very happy. He recognized it himself. We had a real heart-to-heart, but you can run into that. As we're older, we really have to commit to more rigorous and regular flying, I think, in order to maintain those skills.
Well, we need all pilots, and it's been a pleasure being with you today, Karen. I know that you're busy. You got to get off to your next appointment in your very important position, fundamental to the industry. Thanks for joining us. Next up is our cool plane of the day, and it's a super cool plane. It's a Piper L4, the military version of the Cub. Wait till you see it. It's beautiful.
My name is Paul Rankin, and I'm from Hudson, Wisconsin. And my Piper L4 Grasshopper is based at Lake Elmo, Minnesota, just east of St. Paul. The Piper L4 was one of many observation liaison aircraft during World War II, used for spotting, taking brass to the front lines, utility, litter cases, a multitude of missions during the war. This particular airplane was built in 1945 and shipped to Guam, and it spent the last 6 months of the war in Guam before it was the end of the war and civilianized. Okay. The major differences between the standard Piper J3 Cub, the yellow Cub, and the military L4s was the greenhouse, as they call it, windows, which were extended so that the observer in the back seat could turn his seat around and look backwards as well as sideways to try to observe the enemy and the various things that they were trying to do. So the easy way to differentiate the standard Cub from an L4 is the extra windows. And unfortunately for the civilian version of the L4, we can no longer turn the seat around. After the war and the airplane left Guam, it found its way back to the United States, where it bounced around the country for several years and then was in storage in a barn. The previous owner, for me, found it in this barn which had collapsed on the airplane. And so he did a very nice job of restoring it back to original. And I think it's a very well done airplane. The name is because of his wife was named Nanette, and the logo and diagram actually comes from a B-24 that was lost in the Pacific during World War II. I learned to fly in a tailwheel airplane, a Cessna 120, and I've had all my life been flying tailwheel airplanes, and the J3 Cub is one of them that I've flown quite often. And it's a wonderful flying airplane. They were trainers back in the early days, so they're very simple to fly. They teach you a lot about flying, and they're a very reliable, fun airplane. The door opens, and you can open the door in the window in flight, and it's great to look at the cornfields as you fly over the cornfields. And it's just a delight to fly. I'm a flight instructor, and I fly a lot of tailwheel airplanes, and I teach a lot of tailwheel airplanes in J3 Cubs. And it's fun to pass the knowledge and the skills of a bygone era to new pilots that are otherwise unaware of the fun of a tailwheel airplane.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back live to our Oshkosh live coverage of AirVenture 2025. Anybody recognize this guy? Tom Haynes has been around aviation media for a very long time. Recently retired from as communications director for AOPA, and quickly found a new passion. Tell us about conservation through aviation, Tom.
Yeah, actually, when I was at AOPA, Russ, I had the opportunity to do some stories about organizations that did public benefit flying, and it always fascinated me. And so when I got approached by an organization called Elephants, Rhinos, and People, ERP.NGO, to help them with an aviation project in southern Africa, I was really intrigued because it combines aviation and conservation and flying and Africa, which I'd been to Africa, flown GA airplanes in Africa before, and it was an amazing experience, just a really kind of a life-changing sort of thing. So
I don't think a lot of people realize just how much GA there is in Africa. There's a ton of it, isn't there?
There is. People would be surprised to know that. I mean, there are caravans and air vans and helicopters and all kinds of GA airplane, 182s and 172s, light stuff as well, that all over Africa being used for wildlife services like we're doing, but also for tourism. It's huge seeing all the animals and going to remote places in Africa and many places you can't get to anyway except by general aviation airplanes. So there is an enormous aviation presence there.
So what's the goal of Elephants, Rhinos, and People?
Yeah, so the goal is to help protect endangered elephants and rhinos, particularly in South Africa and Namibia, which is right next door to South Africa, and to help the people who surround the communities, the preserves that this organization has acquired, help to lift them out of poverty and give them better lives through education, entrepreneurial training, helping their kids get to school with bicycles that the organization has donated, and a lot of other things they've done to help them. And the reason being, if they have better lives, they're less likely to support poaching of elephants and rhinos. And the elephants in Namibia, for example, in the northern part of the country where ERP's got some reserves, they're desert-adapted elephants, of which there are only a few hundred left. And in the south, they've got a black rhino sanctuary, and there's only a few hundred of those left. So it's really important that we take measures to help protect them, and that's exactly what ERP has been doing, acquiring the property, protecting them through helping the people around them, and then they implement all kinds of technology in the preserves as well to help detect poachers, and then the airplanes are going to be our sort of top cover. Infrared cameras on them. They have radio tracking systems for the herds. Have lead animals that have collars on them, so we can keep track of the herds and know where they are. And it's a really Herculean effort, but it's been a lot of fun.
It seems like there's an element of risk there. Is there? I mean, you're flying around looking for guys with guns, right? And
yes.
Do you ever find them?
Well, fortunately in Namibia, it's been pretty quiet. They're further north in Africa and Central Africa. Poaching has been a very serious problem, and it was in Southern Africa a number of years ago. It has calmed down, but it's always a threat, and it does happen. And so what the research has showed is that just having airplanes in the sky is a big deterrent. If the poachers know that there's observation going on, they tend to go away or be far less active. So just having airplanes out there flying around is actually an important part of the equation.
Well, you can't see it. The folks at home can't see this, but we're right beside the beautiful airplane that's being used for this. Tell us about the plane and the relationship with Cub Crafters.
Yeah, so it's an awesome airplane. It's a Cub Crafters NX Cub, and it's the nose gear version of the X Cub, and it's got the 215 horsepower engine in it, constant speed propeller, beautiful Garmin avionics panel in it, and very capable. It's got big Tundra tires on it, so it'll be a really good backcountry, off-airport kind of airplane for Namibia, and we're just super excited to have it. We took delivery of it here, the first one at the show, and we're raising money for the second one through what we call a signature campaign, where we're inviting pilots to step forward and participate we need 500 pilots to donate $1,000 each, and we'll be able to acquire the second airplane. And we're on track for that, but we could use some support. And Redbird has been super helpful to us, very supportive. Cub Crafters has been helpful. And it's been a really good relationship we've had with Cub Crafters and allowing them, being generous both on the pricing, but also they are very generous in allowing us access to their customers who also have the ability to help us out.
What are the nuts and bolts of getting this operation off the ground, and how is it going to operate once you're on the ground in Namibia and other parts of Southern Africa?
Yeah. Well, first thing is we need to get the second airplane, because the only practical way to get them over there is to ship them over, and the only practical way to ship them is by two to a crate, to a container. And so we need to get the second airplane, and we hope to acquire that pretty quickly. And by the end of the year, we want to have them being shipped over there, and ideally have them over there by the end of the year, because it's about a 3-month process to actually get them over there. So once we get them over there, they'll be reassembled, and we'll put them to work at basing out of a place called Swakopmund, which is on the west coast of Namibia, about halfway down the country. Beautiful resort town, actually, nice airport. And they'll be based there and will be utilized by professional rangers and doing the patrols and the herd monitoring. But the sort of a phase 2, when we get a couple more airplanes, we'll be inviting pilots to come over and participate by utilizing the airplanes to go visit some of the preserves and see the projects that ERP is doing in the communities, as well as going on the preserves themselves and getting to view the animals and stay at some of the beautiful lodges that surround the properties and just have an amazing, life-changing aviation experience like I've had over there. And so the funds then that they pay for using the airplanes and going on these organized trips will help fund the air wing, as we call it, on an ongoing basis. It's not our only source of income. We don't expect it to cover 100%, but it'll be able to keep us going.
What kind of pilots are you looking for? I'm sure you got a lineup.
Well, first we're looking for ones that have got $1,000 that they're willing to give to us, and then once we cross that hurdle, really, it's a great airplane to fly. I've flown one an NX Cup a couple times before. I was just up in Saratoga, New York, and flew one a couple weeks ago, and anybody who has has flown 172s and 182s or something like that is going to be very comfortable in this airplane. Obviously, we'd like you to have, some short takeoff and landing skills, but nothing outrageous. The runways down there are, they're not nearly as challenging as ours in the western United States. And so you don't have to have any super skills to fly the airplane. So really anybody with a decent GA background, they're VFR airplanes only. The weather is great in Namibia. It's a lot of desert, so it's dry and clear. So you don't have to have an instrument rating. And we'll put you through a checkout once you get there. We're going to leave the airplanes N-registered so that it's easy for a U.S. pilot to come over and just go through a quick checkout. And then we'll give you guidance and have somebody flying with you if that's what you prefer.
Are you going to be working with any African pilots to do all of this?
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of pilots in Namibia, and we'll be hiring some of them, at least on a short-term basis, until the ERP is able to train up their own pilots. So we'll be utilizing a lot of pilots there, and I've flown with a couple of pilots in Southern Africa, including one in Namibia when I was there a couple years ago. And, did a great job. And, Namibia's got a really good, strong general aviation background, and they use airplanes a lot there. So, this is not unusual.
Well, I've heard it's very safety conscious and very well structured.
Yeah.
So timelines for all of this next year for really getting going.
Yeah, it'll be
depending on how long it takes to get the second airplane?
Yeah, I mean, ideally we'll probably be up and running early next year with the airplanes reassembled and put to work. It'll take us a while to get everybody trained up, and cause we're going to send. We've already got lots of flight instructor volunteers from the U.S. who put their hand up and said, "I want to go over and help check out your pilots." So that'll happen, and then so I would guess by mid-year we'll definitely be up and operating with at least 2 airplanes and working on additional airplanes, and then later in 2026 is when we'll start to think about inviting pilots to come over and experience Namibia via general aviation.
Okay, you're a Bonanza pilot. What was it like the first time in a little hot rod like this?
I'll tell you what. I'm not of the seat of the pilot, seat of the pants pilot. I'm more of an instrument pilot, procedures pilot, right? So I really had to get my stick and rudder skills back again to fly this. Not that it was hard. It was just the landings that with the Tundra tires and the kind of the spring gear landing it on pavement. I did okay on grass. Landing on pavement, my landings were just okay. But light wing loading, that sort of thing. So for me, it was a bit of a transition. But anybody who's used to flying like a 172 or something like that will have no problem with it.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Tom. Sounds like a fascinating project. And now we're going to throw it over to Sean Bean with the students of Middle Western University. Thanks for watching Oshkosh Live, and we will catch you tomorrow.
Tempest plays a vital role in the industry, and in today's world we are the leading spark plug and oil filter manufacturer for general aviation. We've been able to not only release new products, but we've taken legacy products and created innovations. We take great pride not only from a design standpoint but from a manufacturing standpoint, all the way down to making sure the customer is satisfied with the product. Quality, innovation, performance. Tempest.
Next. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Trashed.
Life's better when you're prepared, especially on the flight deck. Find a Redbird near you and fly like you've been there before.
I help people.
I create music. I shape the future.
I am an entrepreneur.
I inspire people with more than words.
I ride forward. The sky is not my limit.
Find your blue at MTSU.
Standing by. 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is Sean Bean. I'm back. Oshkosh Live, powered by Redbird Flight. I have gotten out of the Redbird booth. They set me loose out into the field. So I wandered over and saw the bright blue tents to wander with the good people of Middle Tennessee State University. I am here with Jonathan, Aerospace Ambassador for MTSU. What's up, Jonathan?
Oh, not too much. I'm enjoying Oshkosh. Happy to be here, having a great time.
Great time. Just two guys with powerful beards here to talk aviation. So, Jonathan, let's do a little bit about your journey. Tell us a little bit how you got the bug and your education and growth through MTSU.
Yeah, so I was 16, 17 years old. Was really interested in getting interested into aviation, airplanes, and all of that. And I was gifted a Discovery flight, so kind of introductory to flying a small airplane like the DA-40 standing behind us here. So we took off from that moment. I knew that was kind of caught that aviation bug that so many other people around Oshkosh here have. And I lived in Murfreesboro pretty much my entire life, and having a school like this in my backyard after catching this bug kind of seemed like a perfect fit to attend this great university.
Yeah. So tell us where you are in your journey as far as education. Have you moved on beyond that? Where are you at now in life?
So I'm going into my junior year in the professional pilot program. So we do offer 7 concentrations, but that's our most popular and the one I'm flying in. So I passed my instrument rating check ride about a month and a half ago.
Oh, congrats.
So, thank you. And I'll start my commercial certificate hopefully this fall. I start training for that.
Okay. Well, we have... Yeah, as you know, I think if anyone wants to know why there's a golf cart shortage in America, it's because they are all here. And I think I have found the coolest golf cart of all of them, Jonathan, which is obviously right behind us.
Right
here.
behind us.
You can't believe. Wait till you see this golf cart. Show us what we're looking at here, Jonathan.
So this is our Diamond DA-40 Diamond Star. This is our primary single-engine trainer for our professional pilot students. It is a single engine, like I said, mostly composite airframe structure, which makes it really light, and with the engine in it, also pretty fast. So we want to go around to the other side.
Yeah, let's go around.
We can check out a couple of things that make this aircraft so special.
No, I'm a relatively sizable dude. Is this really am I too large to fly this craft?
No, absolutely not. I'd say we're about the same height. I'm about 6'2", 6'3". I fit very comfortably in this. I know the canopy looks like it can be a little bit low, but I've never experienced any issues with it here.
So at what point in your education are you, as a student, or going to experience this? Like, where does this come into your education?
It can the flying portion of the professional pilot degree can take roots as early as your freshman year. Second semester is when our incoming freshmen will start working on either their private or instrument certificate, depending on a couple of caveats right there.
Okay.
So you'll start that flying portion then, and then hopefully every semester you'll complete a certificate that you're working on, and then move on to the next one the following semester.
Okay.
There.
Well, let's take a quick look. We actually have a young aviator to be here. Also, love the seat covers. My father-in-law drove a Nissan Z, and he had seat covers like this. He was the man. So anyway, very nice
seat covers, very soft.
So what we're not get a look. We'll maybe get a chance to look inside here, but can you tell us what's happening inside the cockpit here?
Yeah, we can get a little bit closer here. Some of the things that make this aircraft so special and so easy to fly. Well, I guess situational awareness to fly is that it uses what's called the glass cockpit. Now, these screens that the camera is hopefully looking at right now is where they will read the instruments. So the 3 up top there are what is called round dial, steam gauge, sometimes analog instruments is what they're referred to as. Yeah. And a lot of primary single engine or trainer aircraft in general, or older aircraft in general, will fly primarily with these instruments and just those instruments. So what the MTSU and a lot of more modern aircraft are switching over to is the glass cockpit is what they're called. Now, this is the G1000 from Garmin. They have a tent over there. And this will consolidate all the same information that these instruments up here are reading, and much, much more, and make it much easier to read, easier to scan, increase your situational awareness, and give you more information than a typical round dial instrument would.
And what would you say, how many check bags, how many carry-ons with this?
With this, it has a useful load of about 600 pounds, so if your student instructor are weighing about 300, you could put about 300 pounds in the back-ish. So I've flown with...
I have a friend who's an former offensive lineman from Oklahoma State, so I could just go with him, right?
Probably just the two of you, maybe, depending on how much baggage you're bringing.
Thank you for letting us interrupt your lesson there. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Much appreciated. Thank you, Jonathan. Maybe you want to take a look from the front.
Yeah.
Super cool view here down the prop. Beautiful profile. Very cool. Now, is this something particularly that the school settled on? Like, are there variations to this craft as far as, like, when it comes to learning? Like, is this...
Yes. So there are a few variations of the Diamond DA40, lots of different add-ons you can do, and I'm not an expert, but to my knowledge, the MTSU is going all out and purchasing every...
If your colleagues along the way here, please let us know. Be happy to say hello. I'm going to go
Absolutely.
bother your man Andrew here in a minute.
All righty.
So we'll follow you, go around.
I have cornhole out here in the front, a couple seating areas shaded that some of the professors and other up higher people than
so
me
as
are
we
sitting
head
here.
into the tent, any particular area, person we should start with? What do you think?
I think we could just start over here on the right with
Okay.
our alumni board.
All right.
So this right here, would you mind if we got in here? That's okay. So this is our alumni board. When alumni come over here and say, "Oh, I graduated from the program," and blank.
Is Haley on here? Our guest from yesterday?
Haley
is she on your
is,
alumni
yes,
board?
she's up.
Hey,
here, I
there she is.
believe, on
Congratulations.
that picture. If she's not, then I
Congratulations,
apologize.
Haley.
But she's definitely in this picture right here.
Awesome.
So, yeah, they'll come in here and say, "Hey, I graduated in blank." We'll get their Polaroid taken. They'll get pinned up here with their year that they graduated and their name. And then they'll also get an MT Aerospace hat and special pin. So, alumni, if you're out there, come check us out. Come get your free merch. And
What if
get your
there's
name up
somebody
here on the
like
board.
me who maybe didn't graduate but would still like a pen and a sticker?
Oh, we might be able to slip something
Okay.
under the table. But
Awesome.
yeah, let's grab something for you right now.
Thank
you got
you
a
very
Redbird
much.
hat, we'll grab the MT hat.
Absolutely. So let's move on over here. Tell us
Oh, yeah.
what we're looking at here at the center table.
This center table is what they're calling the don't touch table.
Okay.
So this has a couple examples of what our unmanned aircraft system concentrations will be building and flying. So all three of these big drones right here, they are student made and they will make in our state-of-the-art unmanned aircraft systems lab on campus.
Sir,
back
are
in
you
Murfreesboro.
responsible for any of this work?
I am not. I'm actually with the maintenance program at MTSU there, so part of the maintenance management program there. So I'll be working on fixing the airplanes, anything like that. As for the drones, I know it's one of our quickest growing programs right now. He's actually a little more...
I mean, I just want to know, you're telling me you can help me get a personal pan pizza by drone?
He can.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us your name, gentlemen. Sir?
My name is Daryl Hickman, Jr.
Okay.
I'm the UAS Operations Manager at MTSU, and this is some of the drones that we build at the school.
Awesome.
One of the first drones they built, like a box quad. It's pretty much a cardboard box with some balsa wood, and the student came up with the idea of using a pizza box instead of the cardboard box. Now, it's not as stationary, and it's a little cost effectiveness is not there, but it's something that possibly in the works later on.
Well, I mean, with the state of drones exploding, tell us how this is impacting the school and you. Like, what's your view on it from inside?
Every day we think you have something and it's like something new is coming out. So we're trying to evolve along with that and make sure when the students do leave the MTSU, they have all the tools they need to go forward from there.
Awesome. Man, I'm just looking around at all this cool stuff here. Anything else you want to show me? What we want to point out over here?
This is one of our, I would say our senior year class.
Okay.
Right here. This is one they build from scratch. We give them the 3D parts, they put everything together, but this drone can be flown from a laptop. It doesn't need any controller and all like that. They understand all the parts, they understand how it's made, understand the programming you need, and a lot of the stuff that we use is open source, so it's not like you have to pay for it. A lot of drone people are coming together, making open source products that we all can just build off of and grow from there. And with being 3D printing exploding like it is, you can build things like this, a Lego drone, and keep going from there.
Awesome. Well, if I could show this, when I went to college, this was what I was using my freshman year. So this is really where my education began. I was a film major, but they started us off easy.
Oh, of course.
So thank you so much. Again, to find more information about the program and what you got going, there's a cool place on Instagram or online for people to find more.
Unmanned aerial systems on YouTube and Instagram. I think we had those two.
Thank you so much for your time. All right, Jonathan, what else we got here? This is this is clearly the merch table.
This is one of our two merch tables, yeah. It's almost identical to the other one on the right that we passed by. We got some pens here because you never don't need something to write with.
Can I go ahead and get
one
one?
of those?
Thank you so
If
much.
you're interested in our program, you want to hear more about our aerospace program and the 7 concentrations we offer for undergrad and 3 for our postgraduate degrees, you can find out more about those. And also a QR code there if you want to take and scan to get to our website.
Okay.
We also have sunglasses because we know how it gets hot and bright here at AirVenture.
Again, can I get one?
Absolutely.
Thank
Take
you so
everything.
much. That's sweet.
I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah,
Quite
you look
comfortable
great.
indeed.
I see our man Andrew over here trying to sneak behind the camera, sir. We want to get you right here. This gentleman right here, responsible for marketing communications for Middle Tennessee State University. Thank you, Andrew, for a minute of your time. So if I could hand you the mic, well, I'll show the mic.
So many microphones.
Tell us, how do you market and how do you communicate all the cool things that are happening at your school, specifically around the aviation program?
Well, I mean, obviously you come to great events like EAA, and working with you guys to help get our message out has really been important. We have so many of our alums come to EAA and other major aviation events, so big-time programs go to big-time events, and we really want to represent and connect with our alums and also prospective employers, too, you know.
Jonathan, maybe a question for both of you. We were talking yesterday to your provost, and just beyond the aviation, just the vibe of the school, the student body. I'm also a big Blue Raider fan now. I don't know if I told you I'm kind of taking over that. Go Blue. Tell us a little bit about maybe Jonathan, you first, and then Andrew, the vibe of the school, what the community is like there at MTSU.
Oh, yeah. I love the community at MTSU. I'm meeting all kinds of great people there. We have events on campus. We have concerts every spring. There are lots of student organizations to get involved in and meet the other students that I'm in classes with, and getting to know them on a personal level has just been fantastic. And, I mean, you can't get much better than flying airplanes with people that you love talking to.
Yeah.
So.
Andrew, your thoughts on school?
Well, you know, pull my string. I'll talk to you all day about Middle Tennessee State University. It is the type of school that makes a difference in the trajectory of people's lives. We are named perfectly. We're in the middle of Tennessee, and a state university. We have a large in-state enrollment, but we've got signature programs like aerospace where we attract from all across the country. And because we are competitively one of the top 5 flight schools, public flight schools in the United States attached to a university. So that gives us volume. We've got a big fleet of training aircraft. Y'all talked about that.
Yeah.
And all that fun things. But it's really that student experience that Jonathan's talking about. Comprehensive university, 21,000 enrollment or so, but it doesn't feel that large.
Yeah.
Yeah, we break it down.
Flying Magazine is headquartered in Chattanooga, so maybe we could have a field trip, come over, you know, when school's back in session, see what's happening. Yeah, that'd be very cool. Well, Andrew Oppmann, Marketing and Communications for Middle Tennessee State University. Thanks so much for taking a minute. Jonathan, let's take one other walk back here. How are we doing on time? Is everything good here? We're still rolling? Okay, we're going to keep on moving. Hey, Jonathan, now that we've got a clear run at the aircraft, maybe we can get another quick look at it.
I think so.
Maybe you can give me the VIP here.
Go over through here and you can take a seat in it.
All right.
A little bit of a tight space. Everyone suck in.
Awesome.
I can hold your mic
all right,
for
buddy,
you because you're going to need both hands.
You're going to
for
make me look cool, and so the camera's going to make me look cool. So you take that, but don't talk into both.
I won't. All right, so you're going to hop in. There's a step down here.
Put my merch down.
Of course, you don't want to break those.
Okay.
There's a step down there. There's a handle up here. Go ahead and grab onto the handle. It's kind of in here like this.
Yep.
Right there, and step up onto the wing. I promise you can hold you. It's made to do so. I had reservations at first, and then just lower yourself down to the seat. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I've sat for 100 or so some odd hours there.
All right.
Learning to fly this airplane.
Beautiful. So we're going to give you a chance to kind of step in here and maybe get another view. So again, Jonathan, tell me a little again, now that we're up close and personal, what we got cooking here.
Yeah, so this is, like I said, the cockpit of the DA-40 here. So it uses a stick control, which I much prefer to the classic yoke flying. It makes me kind of feel like a fighter pilot, although I've never been one before.
Yeah.
You have your engine controls down there. That's going to be your throttle, your propeller control, and then your mixture control. That's going to control different things for the engine and make sure you're operating at max efficiency. And then, as I said earlier, for these screens, those are the glass cockpit for the Garmin G1000, kind of consolidating all your instruments, your GPS, your engine instruments, and 2 easy to read, easy to scan screens that gives you very up-to-date information on the state of flight you're flying in.
Awesome. What about music? You know, as you bring boombox, tell me about how you're rocking the tunes when you're getting your hours.
We got to be careful when we're flying with music. We're talking to air traffic control. We don't want to miss anything, so it's perfect. The DA-40, at least some of them do. Some of the more advanced ones with the Garmin G1000s have Bluetooth capability that'll page it right to your headset. But also you can get Bluetooth headsets that'll just connect to your phone and talk. And what's great about those is that they'll cut out every time air traffic control's talking to you, so you won't miss a single word from them.
So tell me, what's the most beautiful view in all the hours you've logged in this thing back home, Murfreesboro? What's like the coolest view you've seen?
The coolest view I've seen, I was flying a cross-country flight to somewhere all the way in West Tennessee. It was about 100 miles in a straight line. And it was when I was doing my instrument training. So I went, and that's kind of how you train to fly through and above clouds without making visual reference to the ground.
Right.
So I flew above a cloud. There was a huge cloud layer beneath me and another huge one above me. So I was in this kind of pocket between these 2 clouds that I was in for 100 miles, and nobody up there but me and my instructor that was sitting with me, and it was an amazing experience.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm a sizable dude. Like
Yeah.
this is fine.
Oh, absolutely. I've never had any problem fitting in it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm going to hand this back to you. I'm going to come on back down to earth.
Yep, the same way you came in.
Look, like a real pro.
Absolutely.
Cue
You're basically a
Top Gun
pilot
music.
now.
That's badass. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are here with Jonathan, our aerospace ambassador for MTSU. Thank you so much
You're
for the
welcome.
tour,
Thank you.
for the free merch, for the introductions, for a walkthrough of this incredible plane. So check it out, Middle Tennessee State University. Really incredible aviation and drone program there. Congratulations on your continued journey, Jonathan. Thanks for taking time for us here today.
Absolutely.
Why don't we take a quick walk? If we have a couple minutes, let's take a quick look at the thoroughfare here. I'll take this from you. Let's just take a quick look since we still have a couple minutes. Want to show, I don't want to get you too far away. Real just quick look at the thoroughfare. We are here. It's about noon here on day 2 of Oshkosh Live here on Tuesday. You can see the crowd starting to pick up. I just got a heat advisory notification on my phone for Oshkosh to look out for temperatures upwards of 80 degrees over the next couple days. You know, I'm from Florida, and 80 degrees is what we call Christmas. So this is not a big deal. You're really not supposed to be wearing jeans at air shows. Should have worn something a little bit different, but not a big deal. But again, crowds starting to pile up. Golf cart palooza, people. Again, when you're out here, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about sunblock, hydration. It's very intense. Again, the grounds here are about 1,600 acres, and damn near all of it is filled with either aircraft, displays, tents, air shows, runways. So there's a lot of ground to cover. There are some tractors pulling trams. There are some golf carts taking people around, but really you're on foot. This is the Coachella of Class C airspace. So you're going to get a lot of people, a lot of revelry, and it's a pretty awesome scene here on day 2. So how are things looking back in the studio? We're going to throw it back to the Redbird booth. This is Sean Bean with Oshkosh Live. Back to you.